So we're going to give you some tips. We're actually going to do an assessment live with Michelle because she's a caregiver for her father. So she's going to do a live assessment about stress that caregivers tend to face. And we're going to see where she stacks up. But you guys can take this assessment with us. So do us a huge favor. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and your brand and smash that show button, ladies and gentlemen. And let's kick it this morning.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy. And most say, if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. That's my girl, Michelle. Hey. And we are coming to you live and direct from the Thornton Online Marketing Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri, home of STL Hot Deals. That's right. If you want hot deals from some of St. Louis's best homegrown businesses, then I need you to go to stlhotdeals.com. Go ahead and get yourself registered. If you follow the instructions on that homepage, you'll also see how you can enter to win a free vacation. Last month, we gave away 2 vacations to Cancun, Mexico, and we want to give away 2 more this month. But you got to go register at stlhotdeals.com. And what you're doing when you register is you're setting yourself up that every single week we send you hot deals up to 70% off some of your favorite homegrown businesses in St. Louis, from events to attractions to restaurants to merchandise. It's going down, ladies and gentlemen, stlhotdeals.com. Chalet, how was your weekend, sis?
Woo! How was the weekend? First of all, those are some mighty hot deals, sir. That's hot. 70% off.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I just have to speak on that. That's a hot deal. I had to let the people know. My weekend was so much fun. It was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and all that. So, what did I do this weekend? Hung out with the G baby. That was a good time. That's always a good time. People, sometimes they look at me when I post videos. It's funny. I get mixed reviews. They say, we love the videos of you with a grandson, but your commentary don't make us hot like you. People frowned upon the fact that I gave a grandbaby some lemon and he liked it. I didn't know. I was expecting the face. He didn't give me that face. Yeah, he didn't give me the sour face. He gave me yes, ma'am, may I have another face? He went in for the lemon. And again, hours of entertainment for me. So that's always a good time. But what else I did for the weekend? Man, y'all know I be kicking it with my Influence Church family on the weekends. And we had our Super Sunday this past Sunday. There was so much going on. Man, oh man. We had our Super Sunday, which is where all 4 of our campuses come together. We came together this time at the pageant in the Del Mar Loop. It was epic. And I got some footage on the inside before the word took me out. Because the word, my pastor was teaching. Shout out to my pastor, Pastor Darnell West and Pastor Rochelle West. But they are teaching on faith school. And man, to how to have that crazy faith, how to have that right now faith. Yeah. I want it right now. Yeah. And so kind of took me out during the service, but it was a good time. I'm going to share with you guys in the word of the day. God is always working and he's always teaching. I love the fact God's always teaching. So it was a good time. We gave away not 1, but 2 cars. We gave away 2 cars. That's so amazing. And just a quick story about it. And this was so awesome. And this is why I love my pastor. He has such a giving heart. There was a young lady. She arrived at the pageant. She's one of the volunteer helpers. And she arrived at the pageant at 6:30 in the morning, right? She caught the bus to get down there early. Now, I don't think the rest of the team really had to be there till maybe 8:30 or so for a 10:30 service. But she got down there at 6:30, sat down, had herself a seat and was waiting. but she was online making posts. Hey, come down to the pageant. Hey. And so she went live a few times. And so Pastor scrolled through and was like, hey, wow. You know, so he reached out to us like, you at the pageant already? She's like, yep, I had to get here early, make sure I was where I needed to be. And I'm so excited, I'm ready. And so he was just the fact that she caught the bus, you know what I'm saying, to be in the place to be, to make sure she could serve the way she needed to serve.
Yeah.
Called her up, you know, during the service on stage, and he was like, man, God sees your due diligence. God is a rewarder of those that diligently seek and serve, and you've done both. And he just said, you know what, we was giving away one car, but bam, here we go, 2 cars today, ma'am. And she was totally surprised, totally caught off guard, because she, you know, she's a bus rider. So how often do you ride the bus to church or ride the bus to service and then walk away driving?
Right.
Amazing. Amazing. So man,
and then on a Sunday, you know, the bus schedules are like 2 hours between. Like, that's why she had to get there so early. It's like you probably wouldn't have got that bus till noon or something. Like it's crazy.
Absolutely. To get there, and that dedication to not say, no, I ain't got no car. I can't. No, I'm gonna push through. When I wait. That's all right, because I got to do this thing. So I was, everybody in the room wasn't a dry in the house, because it was such an amazing move of faith right there, that she just had faith to move, and God just, that's how you do. He creep up on you with that thing back, right there with the blessing. What?
There you go. Yes,
well, what about you? How was your weekend?
Man, it was busy. Got this 7-figure agency is coming to life. So I worked all day Saturday. And just for those of you who do not know, Thornton Online Marketing has been in existence for since 2017. But we kind of was in the coaching kind of space for people who are just doing online marketing, becoming influencers and stuff. And this past fall, I decided to go into the small business space and really help our small businesses, particularly those Black-owned businesses, but really local businesses in general, because shopping local has such a huge impact on our local communities and economies. And then as I was building, I was like, okay, I got to decide on what lane I'm going to go in and what niche I'm going to go after and what blueprint I'm going to run. And over the last couple of weeks, it has been revealed, okay, here's your 7-figure roadmap, your blueprint to 7-figure agency in 24 months. So I was building on that, and I've actually chosen my niche, y'all. So if you are in the beauty services business, you are in the med spa space, and you need some help with your marketing, and you're trying to grow, I was spending all week building on this brand new brand called beautybizmarketingpros.com. So if you're in the beauty business and you're ready to get some marketing in your life to grow your beauty business, boom, there it is. We're helping beauty service businesses curate their online presence in a way that attracts new customers daily. We literally can do your website, your SEO, your paid advertisement, and of course your social media. It's going down, ladies and gentlemen. So I did that on Saturday and all day building the new funnels and the websites and all that kind of stuff. But then Sunday, Sugar and I got a chance to go get us some loaded nachos over on St. Charles Fifth Street. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting place. That's all they sell is nachos, right? And I had Cajun loaded nachos with andouille sausage and shrimp and some wild sauce. It was good. It was good.
And where is this at?
It's in St. Charles, right there, 5th Street, and the new theater, AMC, right there in St. Charles area.
And what? And what's the name of the place again? It's called.
It's called Loaded Extended Nachos.
Really? Oh, that's the name. Oh, okay.
That's the name of it. So we just kind of enjoyed ourselves, and then right across the street from that is Hot Box Cookies. So we got us some hot box of cookies and a
hot box of cookies.
And because of this new branding and the new direction of taking the business to a whole nother level, Sugar also treated me to a couple pair of slacks and some more clothes so that I can represent the family business well when I'm out here in these streets.
Come on.
So that's what it
Should
is.
I know she keep you together, sir?
Yeah, man, she's working. She's like, I went and got some shirts on my own. She said, those shirts too big. They don't fit you right. We're gonna go do this.
Come on. Come on, sugar. She's like,
those shirts are too big. I'm like, but they're comfortable. And then she gets me some shirts that choke me a little bit, but they fit really well everywhere else. And so that was our weekend, man. So yeah, we had a good time. So now it is time. If you guys are just tuning in, we are talking about self-care for caregivers, right? A lot of times we are what they call sandwich generation, Michelle, where we are oftentimes taking care of children or grandchildren and parents at the same time, right? And sometimes we get lost in the caring for others that we forget to care for ourselves. So this is a special episode because I know this is something that you deal with, caring for your father, being a primary caregiver. I care for my mother, but it's not on that level like my mom is. She had a stroke and is kind of paralyzed on the left side, but she's still the most independent person that I know. She's like, no, don't you come down here. I don't need nothing. Right. And even my sisters come to town, she won't let them do nothing. So it's weird. But when you are caring for someone else, it's difficult. And we want to remind you guys to care for yourself. But before we get into any of that, we got to get into the Michelle A word of the day. So let me bring Michelle's boyfriend out and introduce this segment, and let's get to it.
And now the Michelle A word of the day.
What's up, party people? It's your girl Michelle A coming at you again with another, hopefully, impactful, influential word of the day. Okay, so today's word, I be getting stuff that come right out of my own life, and I feel like God gives me these things so I can come share it with y'all. He let me experience it so I can share it with y'all in case you guys are going through some of the same things I'm going through, right? So what I want to share with you guys today is to take your place, right? Take your place at the table, take your place in life, just take your place. So over the last few weeks, lots have been going on with my job. Again, love my new job. Shout out to Influence family. Love my new job. And God is moving me in a place where he wants me to kind of walk to the front of some things. He wants me to walk ahead and not behind. It's a funny thing. When God exalts you, he moves you up, but we still have to kind of remain humble or low in spirit a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that we kind of keep the right momentum. And so one of the things, I was online last week, I was scrolling and I scroll past, Facebook has the reels because, Facebook try to keep up with TikTok. So Facebook has these reels, and I came across a reel from TD Jakes, and he was speaking about when a person is needed versus when a person needs to be fed. And so, I found it to be true for myself. Sometimes when you're a person that is needed all the time, and then God calls you to transition into a place of being fed, that's a hard thing to kind of do, right? And we have to realize we have to let go of being needed so much and step into an arena where we can need somebody else, therefore we can be fed. And the best example that he gave of that was step into an environment or step into a room where you don't know what you need to know. Step into an environment where you don't know anything, but you need those people in the room to feed you. And sometimes when we enter into those circumstances, we don't know how to react because it's new and it's different, and we're used to people relying on us and not relying on others. And so our first inclination is to run, right? Our first inclination is to run. I had that very experience over the weekend. I was at church, and so I'm emerging into some different atmospheres, and I was instructed by one of my associate pastors, hey, you need to sit up here just so when the pastor needs you, you could be found. And so at our Super Sunday, I was sat in the area, and as I looked around, I said, I'm sitting with all these pastors. I'm the only non-pastor in this area. And I felt very nervous. I felt very fearful, and I felt like I should get up and move. And that reel came back to my mind. No, take your place. Now, not saying that I'm going to be a pastor or anything like that. God only knows that. But I think the main point of that was where I wanted to run, because I felt like I wasn't worthy to sit around those people. Felt like I wasn't worthy to sit amongst those pastors. That's exactly what God was challenging me to do in that reel, was to take your place. I'm going to sit you in some places where you might feel out of sorts, but I'm sitting you in these places so you can get fed. Your days of feeding others and teaching others, yes, they have to be on pause so you can power up and get fed. So that's what I did, people. I didn't move. I wanted to, but I stayed in place like God said, and I was the better for it. So I just want to leave you with this scripture, Jeremiah 29:11. It's a familiar one. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. A plan to prosper you, not to harm you. A plan to give you a hope and a future. So if you trust God's word, you know he ain't putting you nowhere that's going to harm you. He's putting you somewhere that's going to prosper you. And you can prosper by being with people who can help you grow. And that's just it. So don't run from it. Take your place, people. That is your Michelle. Hey, word of the day. There you go.
Boom. I love that, Michelle.
It is.
But it happened the right way, right? Because scripture also says, don't exalt yourself, because when someone else comes along who is worthy of that seat, then you're going to be asked to move.
There it is.
You sat where you thought you belong, and someone with the authority said, no, you need to move
sit
up
here.
That is amazing word, amazing testimony, brought to you by our good friends over at Trio Banquet Center. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hang out with me, I don't know if Michelle is going to be there, but if you want to hang out with me tomorrow night, I'm going to be at Trio Banquet Center for a Black-owned business chit chat, where we're creating a safe space for Black entrepreneurs to come share their experience as entrepreneurs, what they need help with, what they're struggling with, what are they doing to win. And we're going to be actually exchanging this knowledge and information. So if you're in the St. Louis metro area, it's $5 to attend. We're going to have a good time, great conversation. There's going to be a keynote presentation from a financial expert to teach us how to create our retirements as entrepreneurs, because a lot of times we're responsible for that ourselves. There's going to be, I think Queen Crab is going to be the food vendor on deck. So if you guys want to come hang out with us tomorrow night, 6 p.m., that's at Trio Banquet Center. I'm going to put the flyer in the comments after the show as well, with all of those details, so you guys can come hang out with us. Trio Banquet Center and Rentals is the spot right there in St. Charles. So we're talking today about self-care for caregivers. Now, I'm a big proponent of self-care for everybody. Yeah. But if there is anybody who needs to constantly be reminded to care for themselves, it is people who truly and authentically get joy out of caring for other people. Like my wife is one of those people. Like, she truly is a servant. Like, that is the call on her life, is to serve, and she truly gets joy out of that. But sometimes she forgets to replenish. She forgets to put herself in positions where she can be fed, right? Because she's always giving. So what do you want to start with, the assessment, or you want to start with, what do you want to do? Because Michelle needs to take this assessment.
Why you had to say that part about the joy? I was like, I'm a caregiver. The joy part. Oh, I'm supposed to be happy about it? Oh no, I might not be. I think I'm in the wrong field. I need to switch career paths, because I don't always have joy when I'm taking care. I don't know. Let's start with the assessment. I'm gonna get toe up. There's no doubt. I'm gonna get toe up. Let's start there.
So we're gonna start with this assessment, guys. This is called the Caregivers Stress Assessment, right? Where do you line up when it comes to the stress, according to how you're dealing with those that you care for? So I need you guys to just comment how many of these that you are feeling yourself, right? So we're just going to go back and forth, Michelle. I think we go down on the left side and then on the right side. So number one, do you feel that you have to do it all yourself? Where are you on this spectrum? Man, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself, right? Is that you? Is that your feeling? Right? Do
Yep.
you feel that you got to do it all yourself?
You know what? Okay, I don't feel like I have to do it all myself, but there are certain things that I know that ain't nobody else gonna do. So my daddy, 86, bless his 86-year-old heart, got a girlfriend. Well, a companion, a milady friend, as he calls it.
In them streets with his
Out
player
here in the
card.
streets with his player card.
Okay.
Snapping them up. Y'all better watch out. My pops is on the move. Sorta. But yeah, so I don't feel like I have to do it all myself, but a lot of it I feel like she does the in-home stuff because my dad still lives on his own for now. And so she washes the clothes and keeps his place tidy, but I handle all of his medical affairs. You know, she makes sure he eat, you know, she cooks for him, or, you know, he got little simple stuff he can pop in the microwave, but she cooks for him and stuff like that. But anything with medical, anything banking, anything clothes and shit, I take care of that for him.
Yeah.
So
all right, so we're gonna say that's a no for
that's
Michelle.
a no.
She's
not all
some of the duties, the day-to-day stuff.
The ugly part.
Okay with stepmom taking care of that stuff.
I can't. What? Oh, she just got here. She's not her next stepmom, girlfriend. That woman is how she would be referred to. Just kidding. She's a nice lady.
Nice, cool.
Okay, number 2. Oh, sorry. Do you feel that you should be doing more? No, I'm trying to do less. Sorry, Lord. I feel like I'm trying to do less, but no. So do you feel like you should be doing more than what you're doing? There are some people that I think that there are some people that feel like they have to have all the control. I don't need that. I don't want the control I got. But yeah, so that's something you need to check. You feel like you need to be doing more.
So Michelle's got 2 X's so far, no and no.
Okay.
The third one is spend less or no time with family and friends because you're always caregiving. Do you spend less or no time with family and friends?
Nope. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Okay, show me, Lord. No, because I try really hard to balance life and kids and dad and work. I try really hard to balance that so that I don't neglect that time for them. Yeah. So gotcha. I was saying no to that one.
All right. No longer engaging in activities that you once enjoyed. We're gonna know that's a big fat no, because Michelle, even though she works on the weekends, will find time at the Sugar Shack.
You know what? I've not been sugar shacking, sir, about 4 weeks. It's like what they call it when you don't drink no more, you don't do drugs. It's like I'm in is it rehab? No, sobriety.
You're 4 weeks sober of sugar shacking.
Yeah, 4 weeks of sobriety from sugar shacking. But I did have an itch. I'm itching, Lord. Let me change the radio station. So, yeah.
All right, so that's an X. So that's a no.
That's an X. All right. Okay. Let's see. Do you worry about the person you care for and their safety and well-being? That's a yes.
Big time, yeah.
Lord, because my daddy be all over the place sometime. But daddy can't walk well. He don't hear well. And he be forgetful sometimes. And so I worry about him when it comes to taking his medicine. Because when I ask him, I know how to take all my medicine. Is that why you got Tylenol mixed in with your regular pills and you call them something else? No, this is my metformin. Daddy, that's a Tylenol. I'm worried. I'm concerned. I don't worry, but I'm concerned.
Well, I'll tell you where you're really going to have to get concerned when you start seeing those blue pills show up. That's a whole other thing. Now
why would you even plant that? Because when you plant that thought, I can't unthink that.
Now I can't girlfriend. He's
Ew. I threw up in my mouth a little bit. Ew. He got a prostate exam the other day. I had to leave the room. I was like, I'm not staying. It was like, you want to stay for what? I don't want to see y'all do nothing back there. Let me get out of here. You're lucky I came back to get him because I was really done. Okay.
Goodness. Yeah, and this is one where I'm watching my wife because my wife, both of her parents are still alive. My dad died when I was 11. So I just had my mom, but both of her parents are still here. And her dad, about 8 or 9 years ago, had a stroke. So he's really struggling with limited mobility on one side. Her mom has had double knee replacement surgery. And even when she goes to care for them both, mom won't let her do nothing. Like, I'm coming over, mom. I'm gonna do the laundry. I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna do all this stuff. She get there and it's already done. And it's like, lady, would you sit down so that I can do some of this stuff? So because of that, and then her dad is seems like he's having early set signs of Alzheimer's. So that's another thing. And she is constantly concerned about, dad is slipping away.
Yeah.
B, he's losing more and more of his mobility. So mom has to do more and more for him. And no one's there to care for her. Like it's getting to that place. So we're trying to figure some things out. So I know my wife constantly is worrying about their well-being. So it's not an easy thing. So where do we leave off?
Anxious. Do you feel anxious about money? You know what? I have to say this because my daddy, if he can't do nothing else, he can count his money. And my daddy is one of them people, he gonna have money in old clothes, suits, whatever he do, go to glory. It's like, don't throw away nothing because he got money stuck everywhere in his little place. And so I don't worry about him and being able to his financial security because he really does well with his finances. And I think part of it is because he's such a giver. You know, my dad, he gives. I don't think he has the motivation that the average Christian will have for giving. Like, I'm gonna give because God told me. He just like to be a big shot. God bless his heart. But I think God knows that God knows he don't know no better. That's where his mental is. So he still get blessed and he just keeps money. He just keeps money. So
gotcha. Love it. Next on the list, are you worrying about making the right healthcare decisions? This is huge, man. This is
absolutely
huge. And I'll be honest. For me, I have two older sisters, right? And my second oldest sister has always been like a second mom. Like from when she was a little girl, she was bossing us around. Like she was Mom Junior in this piece. So I don't feel the need to concern myself with that because she handles that, and then my older sister handles that. I will have an input, of course, so I don't have to worry about that as much. But my wife, on the other hand, she is like the primary in terms of that's probably going to rest on her shoulders. So I know that that's something that she is concerned about as well.
Yeah. That my dad had to have surgery, and he's 86, and so there's a concern there. Like, do you let an 86-year-old go through surgery? They want to do surgery on his prostate, and I'm like, they say it's a simple procedure, but with he's got a history of stroke and a history of heart attack and a history of this and that, and that decision to say, do you let him, and then is he competent to make the decision? Does he understand fully? Blah, 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 and then the aftercare, because then that has to happen. And my dad is one of those people, no, I don't need nobody to come in. I got you. Wait, no, we need a nurse, sir. No, we don't need no nurse. I got my daughter right here. I am not the nurse. What are you saying? So I can identify. Yeah, it's a little harrowing to make those decisions. So let's see. Do you minimize the impact of the disease? I don't know. I try not to. I don't know. It's a slippery slope. I try not to because I don't want it to get away from me. That he has certain illnesses. I think he's got some on his mind don't work like it used to. He doesn't remember like he used to. So there could be his mom had dementia. So there could be the onset. Because I know it don't have to be, but I there are concerns there, so I try not to minimize it, but I also, in not minimizing it, I don't want to dismiss it, but in keeping it on my radar, I don't want to worry about it. So there's that. sweet spot where I have to try to land. So.
Yeah, I got to find that sweet spot. My wife says, you just too positive about everything.
It's stubborn. It'll be okay. Take 2 aspirins. It'll be fine.
She even contemplates whether she would tell me if something is going on with her. She's like, because I don't know if you can handle it. I don't know how. Her concern is, I don't know if I can handle how you would handle it.
Ha! That's real. That's honest and real. Like, I don't need your chipperness right now. I need to sit in this a little bit. Keep that till I get to where you are. You will come out the gate. It's gonna be okay. Not yet. I will get there. Right. Make me feel bad for feeling bad. I want to feel bad a little bit. I'm gonna get there. That is you. I can understand that. Man.
Do you deny how the disease or what you're caring for that person about? Do you deny its effects on you and your family?
Hell to the no. Everybody, I be ringing the alarm. They ignore me because between my kids, I don't want my kids to give up their lives. They're young adults, and I don't want them to give up their lives to become caretakers. I took it over when my mom first passed. We shared it. But because they had more free time than me in the past, they were taking on a lot with my dad. And they were late teens, early 20s back then. And I was like, nah, I'd rather I deal with some of that stuff than to put it all on them. They're young and they need to be able to live their lives. And, not that they shouldn't care, but I don't want them bogged down because they have to take care of a sick, you know what I'm saying? I want them to live. And so I jumped back in the driver's seat. And I said, I've lived half my life, let me take this on and I'll figure out how to navigate so that they can be freed up to do life, and they're going to have enough coming at them. So,
right. And I'll tell you this, Michelle, I one of the things that I neglect to have done with my sons is force that issue for them to spend time with my mom and her mom. Like I think we as a culture have to get back to when we were forced to live sometimes 3 generations in a house. Everybody knew mom, grandma, great grandma, great aunts and uncles and that kind of stuff. I think we have gotten away from that. And this intergenerational disconnect is just widening and widening and widening. And we'll look at our children, and sometimes I know in my case, like, man, you got to be one of the least intelligent kids I've seen in a while with some of the decisions that they make. They make those decisions because the absence of that wisdom in their lives. Sometimes the things that they can't hear from you, they hear from grandma or great grandma. And I didn't do enough with my sons. This is my personal testimony to make sure that they spent enough time with my mom. When they were little, of course, you babysat them, but this is the time, like, they're young adults. Like, so my sons range from 21, the youngest will be 21, the oldest will be 30. So they got that 9-year range. This is the time where they really need that wisdom from another loving voice that's not mine or their mom.
Yep, absolutely.
And if we don't cultivate those relationships when they are very young, they don't think to go by and sit with grandma and just, let me just run this by grandma. Let me just go sit and talk. I got something on my mind. I don't really want to talk to my dad. I don't really want to talk to my mom. Let me go run this by Granny Ann, or let me go run by Gramps and just check on her and have a conversation. Like, I really hate that I didn't do a better job of that. So I'm trying to fix that going forward.
I was gonna say it's not too late. They still yet alive. They are still yet alive. They can do it. They can do it.
And I'll tell you, one of the things that I really want to do in this media space, and y'all can have this idea if y'all want to take it and run with it, but I seriously have been thinking about making the time to go and record all of my great aunts, right? And have them talk about our family from their vantage point and put it together like almost like the Bible. It literally would be the descendants of Hattie Lou Buchanan. You have the Book of Augusta. That's my mom's mom. You have
Okay.
the Book of Rita Mae, which is my mom's sister.
Oh, that's
And she
interesting.
can talk about her, because everybody, even though you're raised by the same two people, everybody's experience is different.
Right. Absolutely.
And sometimes people don't understand that with the Bible. It's like, well, how is the same experience in the book of John and the book of Mark told differently? Because they're told from two different perspectives.
Two different people, right?
Story, right?
Absolutely.
And I think all of us should have something like that from our families to say, hey, here's what my grandma said about my great grandma and my great grandfather.
Yeah.
But then here's her sister telling the same story from a different vantage point, and it got different lessons in it because, you know, she was 4 years younger, right?
Yeah.
And or she was the baby of the family, so she didn't get it as hard as my grandmother, who was the old. Like, it's crazy. But let's get back to talking about
a neat idea
and the stress. So were you on the next one, or was that me?
Let's see. It was.
Yeah, I did how to deny how it affects your family.
Okay. And so, all right, feel a sense of loss, or do you feel a sense of loss for relationship, or the relationship that you once had with the person who is ill? Oh, here's the thing. The tricky part is my dad and I never really had a great relationship. We had a parent to child relationship, but it wasn't. We had a parent to child relationship, but not a father to daughter relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so parent to child, do what I say, go over here, do that. Nope, yes, here, you know, give me, etc. Yeah. But when I look back, you know, I think I said this on the show once before, I can count the number of times my dad hugged me as a child, right? When he wasn't drunk. Because when he was drunk, he used to hug all the time because he was always sorry for being drunk. He knew he would get drunk and act a butt. So he was always sorry about that. Yeah. And but outside of that, and just regular day to day, I can count those times where I felt like my dad was proud of me. I can count those one hand, less than 5 fingers. I can count those times hugging and you know, just that daddy daughter thing. So there's not much to miss, unfortunately. However, I will say this is where God is growing me up, is that, and I believe this, that God was like, if I'd have took your daddy first, you was already in love with your mama. Your mama went on first because you needed to work on that relationship, you know, and so we've had some in the last 7 years since my mom has passed, we've had some daddy-daughter moments, and they've been. When I wrote my book, my dad told me he was proud of me. He read my book. I didn't think my daddy read like that, but my dad read my book cover to cover, and that was that. It gave me a humbling feeling. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky one. I don't feel a loss yet. So.
Yeah, and I know for me, I just, you know, my mom isn't ill, so I don't have to take care of her that much, but I remember a pastor that I sat under for years out at Church on the Rock. Beautiful church, beautiful pastor, beautiful congregation. And he helped me understand how one letter in a word can change your whole perspective, right? Yeah. My mom is a mover and a shaker. So she is fly to death, changes purses with every outfit and all of that kind of stuff. And in that, she often leaves her house key in the wrong purse and locks herself out.
Yeah, done that.
Now, I, living in Florida, and she still lives in the city, and we're about 30 minutes apart. And there was a time where probably once a week for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, she locked herself out. And of course, it's never at a time where I'm not busy. Hey,
right. Oh, of course.
Hey, I don't mean to bother you, but I locked myself out. Now, it's in the middle of the summer. It's 100-degree weather. She's sitting on the porch. So it's like, I gotta go. But he helped me understand that I used to say, man, all right, sugar, I got to go down here and let my mama in. She locked herself out again, right? You say, I got to.
Yeah.
But when I heard him do a sermon on the difference between got to and get to, it changed everything. Because you don't get to go let your mama in if she locked herself out because you lost it, right? I still get to do that.
Yeah.
I don't got to, but I get to. It's a privilege that my mom is still alive and kicking, and she's able to call. And when I see that number call, I remember seeing a Facebook post to that same point. It's like, mom's ringing, and some people saying, I'll never get that again, ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, so when you think about the perspective of having the opportunity to mend that relationship and create some of those moments, that is something I know you don't take it for granted, but sometimes we look at things like a chore, and it's like, no, that's not a chore. That's a privilege.
Yeah.
Like I remember my dad was killed when I was 11 years old, and we didn't he cared for me. I remember living with him when I was in the first grade and in the third grade, and that was it. And I barely have any remembrance of him, but I remember needing to hear him say he was proud of me.
Yeah.
Right? And I told my wife that. And one year for my birthday, my wife got me this. Right. And so that is a wallet with my dad's image engraved on it.
Wow,
and
nice.
What it says is, I'm proud of you. And I remember having a dream when I was feeling this way. I had a dream that he told me he was proud of me. And I look at people who have their dads in their lives, and I'm like, man, what would my dad be like today in my kid's life? Or would he even, because he struggled with drugs, he is a Vietnam vet, so he came back, high off that stuff. And he struggled a lot, but I wonder what our relationship would be like if he was alive today. Would he have gotten himself together, cleaned up? Because my uncles did, and they were all it's funny, they were 3 brothers, I think, and they all went to Vietnam from different places and ended up together.
Wow.
Which was weird, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. But they all came back. So cherish that relationship, get a chance to continue to grow that thing. So I'm proud that you are, stepping up and still doing that. But I would say encourage your girls to, even when you are able, hey, go take your grandfather on that appointment. Right. So they can get some of those moments too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My daddy likes to cuss people out. So I don't know how much wisdom is coming out. But I will say he was on his best behavior yesterday. I took him for the prostate exam. I think he knew what was coming. He was like, I'm gonna just behave. I don't want karma to get me into it. Did. So you know what? I'm gonna say this. Shout out to our friend of the show, Captain Clay Former, right? Shout out to him because I was having a moment with my dad, and it's because my dad doesn't walk well, so I have to do a lot of lifting, pulling, tugging, and he's in a diaper. It's just he's been in because he's having this stuff with his prostate. He's been with a colostomy bag, not a colostomy, but a catheter bag, and it's just been
out in the street like that, Shell.
I know, right? He'd be like, "Don't tell the world, Shell, down." But it's been hard to handle him, and I'm a female, even though I might have a little size on me, I'm still a woman, and lifting a man, lifting a man is hard. And so, sometimes I struggle with that. So I'm sitting there and I'm feeling sorry for myself. So I reach out to Captain Clay. Captain Clay, and I'm proud to say I could call him friend because he got this dude stay funny but doesn't want to do comedy. He always got something funny to say, and he got about 90 jobs. And just shout out to him because I just reached out with a text and was like, I'm having a moment, yada yada yada. And he took time out. He worked with the prosecuting attorney's office, but he reached out and took time and was like, hey, what's going on? You good? And just to try to give me words of wisdom. And I found out, and I didn't know, and I had to make me shut my mouth. Both his parents are still living, but both are in similar, like to Sugar's mom and dad. Both have things, and he's one of two siblings that are kind of trying to handle all that and balance it with everything else he's got going on. So I was like, oh, this is the part where I probably need to shut my mouth in, because I just got one parent dealing with this. So, and so, just shout out to him, because that he was a support for me in that moment, and it pulled me out of self-pity. So so we'll move on to the next one. Do you feel frustrated or angry when caring for your loved one? No comment. Pray for the saints is all I have to say to that one. Cortez, your commentary?
Say he might hear this one day.
Right. Sorry, Dad. Love ya.
It's like, again, it goes back to that perspective. If I have a moment where it is inconvenient, right? It's like, nah, it's still a privilege, right? Whatever I'm doing or caught up in or whatever I'm thinking, that can wait. Like, you literally never know how many moments you have. And the funny thing is, the last time I was with my mom, the last time I was with my mom, I don't know what prompted her, but she just came down the steps and she teared up and said, I just want to apologize, because I know I could have been a better mom. And the way that I raised y'all, I just want to apologize, because I'm very proud of how all of y'all have turned out.
That's sweet.
And it's like, man, like, and I don't know what she was thinking about before I came and showed up, but that really meant a lot to me, because I know she's proud of me. But to say that when I look back on how my life unfolded because of some of the decisions that she made, at one point I was a little mad at my mom, because she sent me to my grandma's to live, and it was at that place that I was sexually molested. So I was like, Mom, how'd you send your kid away? And like, but I was just sharing with my sugar, like, my mom had 6 kids by age of 26.
Wow.
Single mom. Like,
it's a lot.
Like, she had me. I'm number 4 of 6. She had me when she was 22. So at 22, she's got 4 kids.
Wow, that's a lot.
As a single mom, like, so all I could say is, Mom, you did the best that you could, and look at us. We turned out well, right? With all that could have and could and did or did not go wrong. Look at us. Like, my sister's got a master's degree, and think about this. She had a $300 welfare check, $300 worth of food stamps, $300 security check from when my dad passed, and she sent my sister to Fisk University and paid for it. How the heck you do that?
Wow. Really?
So
on what she was making. Wow.
It's amazing. So to have those moments, so I try not to get frustrated, because I realize it's a privilege. You don't know how many of these moments that you're going to have left. So try not to get frustrated with your people as caregivers, and keep that attitude of gratitude always. And finally, are you beginning to experience mental or physical health effects of giving care for a loved one? I don't think so. Well, I guess emotional effects could be, because for me, even in my history, when I look back, I was physically abused, sexually abused, but you know what hurt me more was the neglect.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't understand how my mom sent me away. And she sent me away because she was in an abusive relationship, and that was her exit plan. She was like, let me start getting these kids out of here, because I'm about to make a break for it, and it's hard to run with these little babies, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that was the plan, but she sent me to my grandma, which was supposed to be a layover, and my dad was supposed to meet me in St. Louis to get me and raise me, right? He never showed up. So now I got neglect from that part. neglect, trying to figure out why my mom sent me away. And even though she sent me to my grandma's house, I ain't know those people.
Right.
Like they were strangers to me.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like my grandma, I wasn't raised with them. We were living in New York at the time. So my mom went from Nettleton, Mississippi, straight to New York. Right. And we were living in New York. So I didn't know. I'm sure my grandma knew me, but I didn't know her.
Right.
So I came and about 4 years old, like, hey, this is where you live for now. Your dad gonna come pick you up. He never showed, and I'm living in this place with what was family, but at the same time, strangers.
Strangers, yeah. That's hard to adjust to, I'm sure.
It was like, so that hurt me more than anything. So the emotional effects of having to deal with some of those things as I continue to heal from some of that trauma. But that has more to do with my past than it does me caring for her and making sure that she's good now.
But you know what though, just in the same respect to that, just for me, you know, having to be the caregiver for a person that it's a process, you know, and this me being tangible. Forgiveness is a process, and I have to remind myself sometimes to do it daily. Because I grew up in a household where my dad made me feel like I was never good enough. That set some things, that set the trajectory for some things in my past, you know, some habits and some things that evolved because I was never daddy's little girl. I'm his only biological child that deals with him. He's got another one, but he haven't seen him in over 40, 50 years. So I have an older brother biologically from my dad I've never met. And, but I'm the only one that deals with them. And all my childhood life, it was always lose weight, lose weight, lose weight, get better at math. Lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. You can't count. Lose weight, lose weight. And for me, it set the tone that when am I ever going to be good enough for you to just love me? I love you, but you're too big. It was always a but, which we know when you say you do something, you put but out there, it takes away everything you said before that word. So so now to have to be in a position to kind of help care for the person that I felt like never cared for me, it challenges, as I say often, it tests my gangster. You know, it tests my gangster to say, am I going to live out God's word the way I really say I am? You know, am I going to forgive and love daily? I have to wake up and remind myself when those thoughts come, I have to cast down every vain imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of Christ. I have to do that so that I can do the things for because if I stayed in what I was raised in, I wouldn't do nothing for my daddy. Boom, period. That's just it. But because I choose to forgive every day when them thoughts and the memories come back up and I'm like, I may feel frustrated, but I know that, you know what? This has to be done. He did, like you said about your mom, he did the best that he knew how to do. I have to consider his mental, where he was mentally when he was parenting me. Who parented him? What was their mental? So there are some things that I have to really give consideration to say, okay, he ain't know no better. He ain't know no better. And it's so funny because I had a pastor, my previous pastor, Pastor Maya White. She used to teach this series, and one of the catchphrases she used to say in this series was, "But did you die though? Did you die in it? Did it kill you? You know, we all ever heard the adage, if it doesn't kill you, it only makes you stronger." And she would say, but did you die though? Oh, this happened to me, but did you die though? Well, they didn't, but did you? I didn't die. I didn't die in it. I didn't die because of it. I went through some crazy, horrible things, but I didn't die, and I'm still here. So I'm all right, you know, so I can, it fuels me to deal with my dad, and he's a hoot at times. He's hours of entertainment like my grandson. So
Love it. So if we look at your score, Michelle, for those of you who are keeping track, says the way you score is if you answered 1 to 3, which I think Michelle had yes to 3 of these, you are coping well, keep it up. If you answered to yes to 4 to 8 of these, you are in dangerous territory. So you probably need to find someone to talk to. If you answered yes to 9 or more, you and your loved one are at risk. So call a therapist ASAP.
Right. Don't be left alone with that person, is what they saying.
Right. Snap. Right. That series
right.
snap. Like like, either you about to snap or they about to snap. So
right. Seriously.
call somebody and get some help.
Absolutely.
ASAP, man. So
yeah,
this was good stuff. And for those of you who do not know, this is therapy for me and Michelle. We pick topics that often help us through some of the stuff that we're going through, and we hope that it is helping you guys get through some of the stuff that you are getting through. If you guys ever have any topics that you want to hear from us, then always shoot us a message. We don't mind tackling anything. As y'all can see, we're both pretty transparent about where we are, where we've been, and even where we're going. So, and we're taking that on the ride for us. So, any final thoughts before we get out of here, Michelle?
You know what? My final thoughts would be consider where you are if you are a caregiver. Really take the time, make the time to look at where you are in your caregiver's journey and do the work. Like I say, with everything else, that ain't something I just said, I did the work and you finished. The work is continual. It's a process. And so self-love, when you are self-love, period, but self-love, especially when you're caring for someone else, is so important. You have to do the work daily to daily examine where you are, where your person is, all of that. And then also, take your place. Take your place at the table, people. Look at that as well. Get in those areas where you can be fed. Sometimes, depending on your comfort level, it can feel super weird. You can feel like you don't belong. But I'm going to tell you this. If God put you there, you're supposed to be there. If he put you there. That's it.
And I would say that if it is you, then it is you. Like sometimes, and when you have other siblings and things and other loved ones that could step in and help shoulder the burden, sometimes it's you, and you're wasting energy focusing on what whoever else is not doing when you could just say, hey, this has fallen on my shoulders, and here's who I have to help me shoulder this burden. I'm going to rally with that one or two people or no people and say, this is what it is. And I'm going to make the best of it. And instead of sometimes we get pointing the finger makes you frustrated. Like, man, I wish they would step in, and that just adds to the stress and just say, hey, it ain't no day. It's just me. And here's how I'm going to deal with it.
There it is.
And however I deal with it, if they don't like it, they can kick rocks.
You know what? Real talk. Look, it basically said, tag you with. That's it. Tag you with. Ain't no such thing as 1, 2, 3. That it. No, I'm the only one in the room. I guess I'm it.
That's it. So don't forget, if you guys want to come hang out with us tomorrow at the BOB Chit Chat. It's going down tomorrow, 6 p.m. Doors open. It's $5. And then if you want to participate with Queen Crabs, then she will be selling appetizers and plates and things of that nature. Trio Banquet Center and Rentals, 2021 Gulfway Street, St. Charles, Missouri, 63301. I'm going to put this flyer in the comments so you guys can have that at your disposal as well. So until next time, get your money up because you absolutely can do it. More importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you.